Step by step. Day of Judgment explained. Imagine waking up and there is no sun, not because it's night, but because the sun has been folded away, gone, rolled up like a scroll. The stars have fallen, the mountains have been shattered into scattered dust, and the oceans have been set ablaze. Every soul that ever lived, every prophet, every tyrant, every child, every forgotten farmer who never made history, all of them standing in the same place at the same time. No shade, no water, no sleep. This is Qiyamah, and today we walk through it, step by step, so you understand exactly what is coming. Before the gathering, there is an ending. Israfil, the angel entrusted with the trumpet, will blow it for the first time, and that single sound will kill every living thing in the heavens and the earth, except whom Allah wills. Then silence, a gap between the first blow and the second. The earth sits empty. Every soul has tasted death. Then the second blow, and with that second sound, every soul that ever died is raised back up, body restored, standing on its feet on a plane called the Mahshar, the great gathering place. The Imam al-Sadiq has described that people will be raised in the same state they died in, and they will remain in that state until their account begins. Think about what that means. Whatever your last moment was, that is how you arrive. The Mahshar is not quick. The narrations speak of a day described as 50,000 years by the measure of this world, though for the believers who live with taqwa, it will feel like a single prayer. There is no shade on that plane, except the shade that Allah provides to those who earned it. There is a crushing, suffocating press of humanity, every soul ever created, together, and the intercession begins to matter here. This is where the role of the Prophet Sawist and the Ahlul Bayt becomes undeniable. The narrations are clear. No one crosses that plane without the permission of the Imam. Imam Ali, as is reported to have said that on that day, he will be standing at the bridge and no one will cross except by his permission with a document from him. But here is what you have to sit with. You will be standing there, fully conscious, fully aware of everything you did in this life, every word, every choice, every night, and the reckoning hasn't even begun yet. Every deed was recorded, not by a fallible human, and not stored in a machine that can be hacked. The narrations from the Ahlul Bayt as describe that each person has two angels assigned to them throughout their life, one recording good deeds, one recording bad. On the day of judgment, that book is handed to you. The righteous receive it in their right hand, the condemned receive it behind their back, in their left. And then the account begins. Al-Hisab, the reckoning. Imam Muhammad al-Baqir A.S. narrated that the most severe of what a person will be asked about on that day is the rights of other people they violated, not just ritual acts, but how they treated others. The limbs will speak, the tongue that lied, the hand that struck, the eye that looked at what was forbidden. They testify, without being able to be bribed or threatened into silence. And then there is the scale. The mizan is real. It is not a metaphor. The Ahlul Bayt as confirmed it repeatedly in their narrations, a scale set up on the Day of Judgment, in which the deeds of all creation are weighed with perfect, unimaginable precision. Imam al-Sadiq, as was asked about the nature of the scale, he confirmed it is literal, that the deeds of a person are given weight, and that weight is placed against each other. And here is the detail that stays with you. A single word of dhikr, said with a sincere heart, can outweigh mountains of hollow deeds. And a lifetime of outward worship, done with arrogance and showing off, can weigh almost nothing. The lightest thing in this world may be the heaviest thing on that day, and the reverse is equally true. But the journey is not over after the scale. There is still the bridge. Every soul must cross al-Sirat. Every single one. The narrations from the Ahlul Bayt as describe it as a bridge stretched over Jahannam, finer than a hair, sharper than a sword. How fast you cross depends entirely on how you lived. The narrations describe some crossing it like lightning, some like a galloping horse, some crawling on their hands and knees, some struggling to hold on, and some falling. And here again, the wilaya of the Ahlul Bayt as appears in the narrations. Imam Ali as is described as standing at the bridge on that day. Those who held his wilaya in this life will recognize him, and he will recognize them. This is not theology at a distance. This is a scene you will be inside. The scholars who narrated these ahadith were not describing something abstract. They were warning people who still had time. We still have time. The Day of Judgment is not the end of the story. It is the culmination of everything you built, or didn't build, in this life. The trumpet, the mashar, the scrolls, the mizan, the bridge, every step we walk through today has a name. Every step was described by the Ahlul Bayt as not to paralyze you with fear, but to give you a map, so you walk this world with your eyes open. If this video helped you understand what is coming, watch the one on screen now. We go deeper into the intercession of the Ahlul Bayt and what the narrations say about who receives it.